So I guess in the culmination, the last thing we're just going to talk about, and it kind of goes back to the first thing, this first subject we were talking about, like the movies and stuff. And we're already an hour and 35 minutes, so we're gonna probably try to wrap this. Yeah, we're gonna try to wrap this up in like 20 minutes. Yeah. No, we're gonna try to wrap this up in 20 minutes. So, and here's my question to you, because I know you've been talking to me and I've been blowing everyone's ears out. It's like, nah, it's supposed to be you, and it's like, nah, it's supposed to be you. My question is, with all the movies and let's say all the controversy and such, I got a two-part question. So with all the movies that are out, let's say now, or the way movies have been, or way entertainment has been, like with YouTube integrating with the internet, and let's say movie stars always being, you're seeing things and hearing things about movies before they even develop. Do you wish that would all go away and it would go like to a time, let's say like the 80s, when only a hand-picked few knew about the movies, and then they said it, and then either it just went on your deaf ears, or you were like, okay, it'd be cool to know about it? What's your take on that? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I kind of think I understand what you're saying.
Well, okay, what I mean is like, let's look at, okay, I'm trying to think, in the 80, let's say 85, 87. Okay. Let's say you didn't hear much about movies unless you read, like, either watched things like Entertainment Tonight or read like an entertainment magazine, right? But now with YouTube and the internet, you hear stuff from a day-to-day basis on films not even produced, but there's always controversy about it. There's always something to spark on it. Sometimes you might even watch the trailer, and the trailer is more intriguing than the fucking movie.
Oh, so you're asking me, do I think social media is
kind of exploiting it, making it worse? Whereas if we had it to the point where you didn't know that much about, not much about the trailer, they put the trailer out and you're like, okay, I either liked it or I didn't like it. That was it. Or you didn't hear much about the movie stars. You heard them in a little bit interviews, but not the social media buzz like now. Do you think it's gone worse, or do you think that it was bad back then? Like, do you want more exposure about movies and actors and this and cross connection and stuff? You know about the DC universe, about the MCU, about Paramount Plus, about Disney and all this other stuff. Do you think all that stuff is too much? Like, you just, I
feel like it should be. Well, I grew up the time where we didn't have all that. You had to just see a trailer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So me, I would say I would rather not have so much information given to me about it.
Okay.
Honestly, I feel like it should be separate. I don't even think, like, when they make these movies, it needs to be separate from any of the information that we're given, especially with like the superhero movies. They need to just make these superhero movies their own way. Don't worry so much about trying to make it like the comics.
But I think they've been doing that for so long. I mean, and if you look at it, a lot of these movies are in somewhat, let's say, with the exception of a few, a lot of these movies haven't made the Hollywood way. They haven't been made, let's say, authentic. Like you can, let's look at I'm trying to think of a movie that really wasn't authentic. They just took this shit and just ran with it. I mean, God, I can't think of a movie right now, but okay, I'll quit on that. But I'll just say there's been so many movies that they've been made from comic book adaptations, and they never got all of it right.
Sure.
like to me, okay, I'll just think of one. Okay, I can think of one movie that I believed was it wasn't comic book accurate. It was more of a video game. It was Mortal Kombat, the first one. To me, I mean, there were some changes that they did, like with Raiden. They made Raiden Raiden, it was Christopher Guest or whatever his name was, fucking Highlander dude, which I didn't understand that shit. I guess they needed a name, and so they got his ass to do it, which I thought, they should have got Cho Yun Fat. That would have been awesome. Cho Yun Fat as Raiden. I mean, he could pull a couple karate moves and couple kung fu moves and look authentic. But to me, that was very video game. It wasn't video game accurate, but it was as close as you were going to get with the special effects, and the pull and all you were going to get, and the vision.
That's why I say, like, I feel like when they're making these movies, even if it's portrayed from a book, don't make it like, I know, like, movies now, they're not making it like exactly like the book, but in my opinion, they don't even need to try. You just take the character, whatever they're wearing, and make your own storyline with it.
Well, okay,
let the books be the books and let the movies be the movies.
Okay, so then it comes another question then. So when you have something like Iron Man, and then all of a sudden you put in, let's say you replace Tony Stark. Tony Stark's is apparently supposedly white, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you decide to put in a black person in there. So, but then okay, no, let's get a better one. Like fuck. I'm thinking it's in the fuck of my head. Okay, so I got one. So you have this. Let's say the person of Tony Stark's is replaced. We'll just go back to Tony Stark's. Tony Stark's is replaced by a black character, right? And this black character is the Tony Stark's. You're going to have people that are saying that's not comic. Like you said, you're saying, well, we're not using the comic book, but yet you're using the.
What I mean is, we can take the characters and make their own story. You get what I'm saying?
Okay,
So
but what I'm saying,
it will avoid the issue of, well, that's not comic book accurate. Duh, that's the whole point. We're not trying to make it comic book accurate. We're just trying to take the comic book characters and make a movie with those comic book characters.
No, but they're doing that. I mean, they're doing. What I'm saying is that I think that.
But they're taking things out of the comic book and they're switching it.
Well, I mean, it's okay, but I mean, what they're doing is it's just like any movie. Okay, so with movies, they only take out the best parts because that's the thing. That's what they believe people will watch is the best parts. It's like Lord of the Rings. They're not going to. You cannot extrapolate let's say the Fellowship of the Ring. Peter Jackson did a great job, a wonderful job, but he would not be able to pull every single thing out of that book, out of the first book, into the movie. I mean, that's why they took out certain parts. Certain parts didn't make sense. I mean, if you read the book, certain parts didn't make sense in the movie, but then there was like, okay, as far as continuity, there was some continuity and there wasn't, but it was okay. But what you sound like you're saying is,
and that's why I say, like what you just said,
but
certain parts was in a movie.
Okay, but what you're saying is you're saying take an intellectual property like Lord of the Ring, but you're saying change it. If you look at the Fellowship, but wait a minute. So point being, the example would be Amazon Fellowship of the Ring. That is completely they took the property, they bought it, and then they twisted it to their own narrative. So that's an example.
Yes,
so
that's a perfect example. And you don't hear anybody saying anything.
Oh no, I contraire. No.
Really
No, they're talking about other stuff.
Leading female.
They're talking about other stuff. They're talking about the black elf. Like why the fuck there's a black elf? I mean, there's a huge discussion.
There's darker skinned elves,
but not in the Lord of the Rings. See, there you go. We're not talking about just fantasy. We're not okay. You're just being general and saying fantasy, but we're talking about Tolkien. That's different. Tolkien has his own world. So what you're putting into something, into an IP like Tolkien, is you're saying that there's all these different things, and now we have to twist it. Basically, I mean, what you're doing is you're doing what a lot of these movie companies are doing. They're just taking an idea and then twisting it, or putting a black face on it or a white face. Okay.
No, what they're doing is they're taking the ideas and taking the people out of those ideas that are original and making it their own. That's wrong. That's the wrong way to do it. If you're going to take characters, keep these characters who they are, and just make a new story, like comics do all the time.
Yeah, just make a new story. Can you just make a new story without right? Okay.
Keep everybody original and just make your own
story.
Because that way there would never be anybody saying, "Hey, this ain't correct in the movie."
Right.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
I got okay. I was checking because he was like, it was confusing a bit, and then I was going to hit you with the ultimate whammy. I was like, well, no, because the whammy would have been okay, like Black Panther. So instead of having Black Panther, why don't you have a white guy be Black Panther?
No, that's where you mess up. That
goes but what I'm saying is what? Okay, listen, just understand what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that to some individuals, even myself, if you put a black elf in a Lord of the Rings or a Tolkien property, that is the same. That would be wrong. That would be the same as putting a white person as Black Panther.
Yes,
so okay. But what you're saying is, it's like we have
original characters.
No, you can't. Just don't even.
When you say that, like even with the black elves, like you said, in Lord of the Rings, there are no black elves, right?
Right.
So the original characters, outside of just the main characters, are white elves. So when you're making a Lord of the Rings movie, there needs to be white elves.
No, you can't. Right.
Are white elves.
Right.
The only thing I'm saying that need to be different: do not make any the story of the book.
You can't even do. You can't use any of it. That's the point. What I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you're going to put them in the same world, you cannot put them in the same world. That's changing it. It's just you can't even use that. What I'm saying is that certain people.
No, you can keep the same world.
No,
it's not
you
the
can't.
world that's the problem.
You can't.
People that's the problem. It's the routes they go.
No, that people are still not going to accept that because you're still using intellectual property. What I'm saying, when you say intellectual property, that's including the world building, that's including the characters, that's including everything. You cannot make a Lord. I'm just saying this. You cannot make a Lord of the. You're saying is don't change Aragorn, don't change Bilbo Baggins, don't change them. But what you're saying is remove them out and put someone in their place who's a different king. But it reminds me of Aragorn.
No, I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, all right, for instance, this is a good example.
Yeah.
So we would, all right, for instance, that we could use Iron Man.
Right, okay.
We got Iron Man, Tony Stark, who he is, how he acts.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep that the same as the comics, right?
Well, I mean, he's different from the comics and the movies. He's totally two different people. But there's a different. What I'm saying is there's a different Tony Starks in the comics. Because the thing is, he not only was a womanizer, he was a raging alcoholic. And then there was the Tony Starks that you see that's in the cinematic universe. So
but also multiple adaptations of Iron Man.
Yes. But let's just start simple, saying we only know there's one Iron Man, one Tony Stark. Okay, so cool. Go with that. Okay.
So the Iron Man that we know that we're going to stay specific on.
Yeah.
When they take that character, right, and you put it in the movie, whatever storyline that character had in that movie is fine. But when they make these movies, don't make it exactly like the story, because you can't get every single detail. We're talking about a book that has like written stories, like it's written out. You can't act out everything that's written in that. So what they will have to do, what they should do is do what I would consider a spin-off movie. So you take the main characters, you don't change up their surroundings or how they live their life. You don't change up their personality and none of that, because that's what we want. We want their personality. We want the real Tony Stark. We just don't want you to take the storyline that we're so known, like his first comic. We don't want you to take that and put it in the movie and don't put every single thing that's supposed to be from the comics in that movie, because you're not going to do it, because you can't do it. So okay, don't do that. Make a spin-off of it. So this is his storyline. First of all, it's already annoying that they always keep remaking their storyline.
Yeah.
But if they do it, cool. Okay, we got past that part. Now let's just make a new adaptation of that situation. So, for instance, Iron Man, the first movie, what's his name? The guy when he took his God dang it, what the freak is his name?
What, Rhodes?
When he took his idea, made his own big little Iron Man thing.
Oh, you mean right. Yeah. His business partner, right? All right. Yeah.
So we could take that character, same thing, same situation, take that character, but instead of it being Iron Man is hard to use that as an example because they did exactly what I said. That's probably
okay. No, but see, what you're gonna run into is that you already. Okay, so if you already have characters, if you're saying it's just that we're going to swap them for.
No, you think I'm thinking about swapping the characters? The characters aren't getting.
No. Let me finish. Let me finish. What I'm saying is like Tobias. I think his name was Tobias or whatever. The guy who was his partner, right? So what you're saying is do a story on him, or you're saying swap him out with who? What, a woman or what? A person?
I can't.
Okay.
No swapping out, none of that. So basically, what you're doing is you're gonna take him, but instead of it being, he took this from Tony Stark and he made his own, and Tony Stark ended up fighting. We already know that, but there's so much details in the comics of that you're not gonna be able to put it in the movies. And what happens is people get agitated because you're not doing it correctly, like the comics.
Well, you're still gonna run into this similar problem. You're gonna run into people saying that it's supposed to be. It's like this. It's kind of like we want Iron Man. So
you're still getting Iron Man.
No, you're not.
You're getting a spin-off of like another backstory of Iron Man. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you say. It's like
MCU. That's why they call it the MCU. It's the movie version of it. It's not a comic version of it. So why put all the information from the comics into
the movie? But here's the thing. They're not. But as as far as we know, they do take out the juicy bits. They don't, like Civil War, the movie is different from the comic book. It's entirely different.
It's definitely different. But
Right.
Civil War.
No. You just, it's just a name. The way you analyze it's just a name, because you already know. You know that it's a different story. The comic book is different from the movie. The movie was just more relatable. They took out the juicy bits. And that's what Hollywood does. Because you have to understand, a comic book, you can extend that. You can extend that for almost forever, and however you want it to be. You can make the world building easy. Whereas a movie, you have a budget, you have a certain amount of time that people have to watch it in the theaters. So you have to cram all that stuff, and so you cut out so you give them the juicy parts, the bits that everyone's gonna like. They're gonna like the big clash scene when everyone's fighting. They're gonna like the friction between Tony Stark's and Captain America. They're gonna like the whole point about the reason why they're fighting, or what happened, the backstories. They're gonna like that. But what you're saying is use an Elseworld adapted to an Elseworld, which is okay, that's fine, but it's not going to get.
What do you mean when you say Elseworld?
Elseworld, well, what you're saying is an Elseworld. You're saying is that instead of it, you're saying change it to a different meaning. It's like Gundam.
Elseworld, because you're still taking the same characters.
You can't, but see, but
different situation.
But they're not. But a different situation for Tony for what? They're not going to watch it.
It's the same way they do comics. You have an Iron Man comic where Iron Man meets Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
You have an Iron Man comic where it's just based off Iron Man and his story. You have a spin-off part of Iron Man comic that branches and it just goes to another situation, but it's still in that same universe. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but what you're
doing, the same thing.
But what I'm saying is that Hollywood is doing to a degree something like that. It's only because. Right, but
when they do it, they're taking the things and not doing it to the point to where it can't be questioned as like, oh, well, that ain't how it was. Because like you said, they're taking the best parts out of the comics and putting it into the movies, which they need to stop doing that because it doesn't work.
Actually, it does work. No, actually, it does work. No, it did work. It made billions of dollars. What they're complaining. What they're complaining is they're complaining of replacing characters that are already solid, well fleshed out characters, and swapping them for either a woman or swapping them from a different race, and then all of a sudden, let's say for a race, they're swapping them out for a race, and then because they're a different race, they have certain narratives would conflict the actual character that was in the original intellectual property. Then if it's a woman,
because they also a lot of the Marvel movies that came out, like people are complaining about them adding like Miss Marvel, like adding female characters that should have their own movie. That's also a big problem.
Well, I mean, like I said, you have to before you have to when you look at stuff like that, and the reason like they make some of these movies, you have to look at the reasons why they make the movies. Sometimes the movie is, I understand your approach, but they're not using that approach at all to make the movie. Sometimes they're just making the movie to to add the dollar. Well, no, I mean not necessarily the dollars, but it's just to push along the narrative. It's like the reason they made Captain Marvel was because they had so many different reasons. One, they were trying to introduce her as this all-powerful being. Number two, was part of she played an integral part of the Infinity War, and also and then lastly, it was about they were also trying to make money. So yes, they had different motivations for doing it. So when you're saying this thing like, well, they need to change it and do that, you have to understand the people that are doing it don't give a damn about what you're asking. What you're asking is you're asking them to be authentic and respect the IP, and then perhaps make a story or perhaps make another character into something similar. But then here comes the thing. If it's similar, they're gonna say, "Oh, that's Guardians of the Galaxy," or "That's Howard the Duck," or "That's Thanos." These are all different characters. Like when you look at Darkseid, "Oh, that's Thanos." People look at Thanos, "Oh, that's Darkseid." So you'll have some of us who will understand and see that, and we'll have some of us who understand the reasons why there are two different people. And then you have some people who are, they don't give a shit. They just paying tickets. Oh, it's another baddie. He looks like Thanos, and he's always going to be a Thanos to them, even though he's Darkseid. Even though Darkseid came before Thanos.
The movie that did the best, superhero movie that did the best, would be Blade. They took the character from the comics and did their own story. Though that is the best movie.
So okay, but again, what you're asking, okay.
And like you said, at that time they were more focused on doing it for the fans. Now,
no, I don't think necessarily was
for the money.
I don't think all those movie companies are doing it for the money. They're not doing it for the fans. They don't give a damn about them. They don't care. It was an opportunity. Wesley Snipes was a hot commodity. It was an opportunity for him to flex his Hollywood muscle, his Hollywood clout, and say, okay, I want to make, because that movie was made by his company. He had opportunity, he took advantage of it, and he actually fleshed it out. The fact was, he took Blade and made it his own thing to the point now mostly anything that resembles Blade in the comics is a resemblance to Wesley Snipes. Kind of like the whole Nick Fury thing. Like everything to Nick Fury is from the Samuel Jackson Ultimate Marvel adaptation, right? So, but they're still trying to make money. When it comes down to it, when you really come down to it, it's not necessarily about it. It starts as an inspiration. Yeah, I want to make a good story, but at the same time, that guy has to still sell it to a publisher company. And you think he's just going to give it away for free? No, he or she is going to get some type of residual from it, and that's what it's about. It's about constantly trying to fill them seats, constantly trying to get them dollars, trying to sell them toys, and whatever you have to do. If you think and you have to understand. These movie companies are motivated differently. They're not motivated like us, where we're just like, hey, we pay, we're not saying struggling, but we don't have millions and millions of dollars to make all these different choices. And
so
you have to
understand. Daredevil fail?
Which one, Daredevil? Which Daredevil are you talking about? Are you talking about Ben Affleck Daredevil?
Yeah. Why did that fail?
Well, I mean,
because we're being honest, that's the same route Blade took.
Well, I think you got to understand, when Marvel movies came out, that was as the best you can get. It's like you got to understand. Let me look at when Daredevil went out. Ben Affleck, Daredevil, Ben Affleck. Okay, that was 2003, right? Mm-hmm. 2003, and then you're comparing what, Iron Man. Let's say Iron Man.
We're comparing Blade.
No. Okay, Blade. But they came around, 2002. Oh, no, that was 2000. Came out, what was the first Blade? First Blade, Wesley Snipes. Okay. And because Blade 2 came out in 2002. Then Blade came out in 1998. So they were just starting to get into that genre. Because remember, they were taking a chance. They weren't trying to, it was like, and you have to understand, these movies are not part of the MCU. They're just superhero movies. So you can't connect.
In my opinion, what I'm seeing is with Blade, it felt more relatable to the comics.
Well, you got to understand that Blade was a character you could easily adapt it to a live action compared to, let's say, the technology they had then. You can easily adapt a Blade versus an Iron Man.
Any of the characters can be easily adapted.
No.
The reason why Wolverine fails is because, like everybody always says, Wolverine fails because they don't put Wolverine in his original uniform. That's the reason Wolverine fails.
No, it doesn't. Wolverine. No, how can you say Wolverine fails when Wolverine
the movie that Hugh Jackman played in was Logan.
You can't, but here's the thing. You can't simply say that it failed when Wolverine and Hugh Jackman actually had several movies. He had the Wolverine, he had X-Men Origins, he had X-Men 2, he was in all the X-Men movies. He was even in what the fuck? He was in X-Men's first. But you're not, see, here you go. You're not connecting the dots. You just said Wolverine always fails because he didn't have the uniform, and I'm saying I beg to differ. When every X-Men film had Hugh Jackman in as Wolverine, even X-Men's the rebooted X-Men after X-Men's First Class, he was in the second one. He was in the second one where he was just in it for a minute, and then he was Weapon X. when he had the stuff on and all that. So he's actually.
Well, maybe I'm being biased.
I'm not saying you're being. I don't know about being biased. I'm just saying is that when you say something like Wolverine failed, I'm like, hell no. Wolverine got his own. He had 2 of his own. I mean, not only he had his movies.
Failed.
It don't matter if it failed.
The Wolverine failed.
I'm not thinking. Okay, now see here, you keep moving the goalposts because you're talking about box office, where I'm talking about continuity. I thought we were talking about continuity of like this is a character that.
The content. Oh, so when you're saying continuity, you're talking about the movie in general.
I'm talking about I'm talking about consistency.
About the money part of it.
I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the money part. I'm talking about continuation of that certain character. It's like whenever you have X-Men, Wolverine is always going to be essential to X-Men.
Yeah,
right. So okay,
so even if somebody's essential to a movie, you could have 5 people in a movie and people will still say that specific person was trash in that movie.
How was he trash when he was?
Hugh Jackman was trash.
How?
Hugh Jackman is a trash Wolverine, but it's good to see Wolverine.
Who are you comparing? But who are you comparing? Okay,
is trash.
Okay, I get that, but who are you comparing it with? Who are you comparing the Wolverine with? Because there's no one else that played Wolverine other than him. I mean, what I'm saying is, okay, when I say,
we were speaking off the adaptation of how movies should go about making their movies.
Right.
So when I see Blade and Wesley Snipes, I'm like, okay, you did a perfect job. That looks good. Then you see a Wolverine. Okay, well now what are you doing? You bringing a pretty boy into this picture, and that's not working. Nobody wants to see his face because we never see Wolverine's face.
I don't. I mean, okay.
What are you showing me?
I get. Okay, I get it. It's like I guess my question I should ask you is, as far as do you read Wolverine from a comic perspective? Do you read it from a comic book?
Are you talking about the movie?
I'm asking you a straight question. Do you read Wolverine comic books? Do you read
Yes,
about? Okay, so that's all I need to know. So when you said Hugh Jackman is trash, then you're basically being an authoritative expert by saying he's not comic book accurate. But isn't that the whole thing of we're discussing? Is that we're not trying to go with comic book accuracy. We're trying to go with how Hollywood portrays their actors. They take a little bit from the comic book and they try to get somebody close enough. And I'm sorry,
but they don't even get someone close enough.
Okay, what I'm saying. Okay, so tell me. No. Okay. I'm hearing all this energy, but what I'm asking you is, give me some input. Who do you think would have been a good Wolverine at that time? Because you got it. Because
Mel Gibson could have did it.
He was too old. He was too old to do Wolverine.
Wolverine in the comics is pretty old.
No. Okay. What I'm saying is you have to think about it.
But we're not talking about the comics.
Yeah, but see, that's what you're doing. You keep moving the goalposts because now I don't know where you're going at.
The only reason why I was bringing it up, the only reason I didn't say anything about the comics, the only reason why I say anything about the comics is because you asked me how do I feel about the movies and how they're making them now. I feel if you're going to make these movies and you want to make these movies right, use the same blueprint you did with Blade. You take the character out the movie. I don't care if it's a main character, a side character, make them accurate.
Okay, but see, I'll give you this with Blade. See, the fact with Blade is no one knew that much about Blade. I'm saying as if you could put a Wolverine out there compared to a Blade, most people know about Wolverine. He's sellable. Whereas not that many people knew about Blade. Yes, he was tough and all that other stuff. We got that. But what I'm saying is...
But if you're talking about money, then that's a totally different subject.
No, I'm not... Let me finish. I'm just saying, when you take those two characters, I'm saying Wolverine is iconic. Blade is not iconic. Wolverine, everyone knows about Wolverine and let's say his story.
Then that makes it even more disrespectful.
Okay, but...
For you to say that Wolverine's iconic.
He's iconic.
And then they go get Hugh Jackman.
Okay, but see, this is where you're getting butthurt over it. See, I'm not getting butthurt over it because here's my thing. One, I don't know much about Wolverine. All thing I know about Wolverine is from his origin, has him being Weapon X and him doing all that stuff. But most of Wolverine stuff I know about is from the movie. So what I don't want, it's just like saying to me, let's say about Transformers, right? Like I tell you about Bumblebee, and I tell you about that first 20 minutes and how that scene, it was orgasmic because I'd never seen a live action. I would never think I would see a live action adaptation of Transformers, especially from Cybertron in a movie. I did not think so. It was like,
the first one?
I'm talking about the Bumblebee. I'm not talking about the Bayverse. Bayverse don't show that. They don't show that shit. I'm talking about when I say Bumblebee, that's completely different. That is a different universe. That is like
So you are agreeing with me in your own way. You're saying the same thing. You was not expecting to. You were grateful to see a Transformers movie where they did the adaptation correctly.
Well, no, you know how I knew I was going to watch it, because they shot their wad early. They showed the Cybertonian thing in the clips before they showed the movie. So when I saw that, I was like, holy shit. I was thinking they were going to continue on in the movie, but when they showed him landing on Earth and then the stupid broad and all, and the dumb girl and how she got a Camaro and all this other shit, I was like, okay, I don't care no more. But I did like how they did Bumblebee. I didn't care about that whole thing about he couldn't speak because then he was taking all these catchphrases and shit. I didn't care for that. Well, I mean, they, like I said, Hollywood has always got to spoil it or mutate it for their own agenda. I mean, I wish they could just keep it like Tomb Raider and just have her big floppy tits all everywhere while she's running. Her tits
were
going.
I'm trying to say. If you're going to take these characters, do it correctly. I don't care about the story as much as I care about the characters.
Yeah, but
in my head, I see it like this. I was so happy to actually see these heroes come to life. So when I see these heroes come to life and they don't look nothing like the characters in the book, I got a problem.
But what I'm saying, okay, but this goes back to my question. Who would you think? Because you have to think about this. If you are saying he's weak, then obviously you must have a person in mind that could fill that gap. Do you have any?
What's the guy that played Bane? He would have been a good guy. The one that played Venom.
He was okay. One, he was
a good guy.
He was too young. He was too young.
Yeah, he was too young.
He was too young. He would not be able. And what I'm saying is that the Hugh. Okay, you gotta look at the Hugh Jackman in the first one. The first one, I don't think it counts, because when I say don't count, I'm not saying they don't count for you. It's like every superhero movie has I'll say a mulligan, because if you want it, and I'll give you a prime example. Captain America. They have had so many adaptations of Captain America. They had one in the 70s, and they had one in the 90s. They had one in the 90s, and then they live action. I'm talking about live action. They had one in the 70s or the mid, like early 80s, and then they had one in the mid 90s, and then they finally got it right with Chris Evans, because they finally got a producer who knew what he wanted, saw what he wanted, and did it that way and said, okay, this will work.
You can say the same thing about Superman. From all the Supermans, it has always been done well, because every single time they do a Superman,
I don't. Okay, I'm gonna say this. I would say you're right.
Not the 2000s.
No,
Superman Returns.
With Brent.
Superman Returns was pretty good.
Yeah, but Superman Returns was pretty good. I mean, Superman Returns was pretty good. I didn't care for which one? No, I didn't. I actually liked all the Supermen except the latest one. I didn't like Flash, but I didn't like it. But
Civil. What's his name? Henry Civil or something like that?
No, Cavill's great. What the fuck's wrong with you?
What new Superman you talking about?
The Flash. It's not even Superman. It's Supergirl. It's a new Supergirl.
That's trash. Yeah, that was trash. I don't even know why they even brought her to life. She needed to stay in the comics.
No, right, okay. But what I'm saying, well, they're trying to say it's a different multiverse, so it wouldn't be the Superman, the universe.
A new multiverse, but instead of doing a new multiverse and bringing another Superman, you switch it completely up and you bring.
It's not
doing Injustice. You ever played Injustice?
Yeah. Well, but see, that's the thing. If I wouldn't mind seeing a bad Superman, but after a while, you just gonna have to let that shit go. It's like so many times they attempted to. Zack Snyder what Zack Snyder was trying to do. He was trying to make an Injustice and incorporate it with Darkseid in it, but it didn't work because one, the movies didn't do well. Number two, you were dealing with old executives in Warner Brothers who just pulling out these movies because they were looking at Avengers and saying, "Oh, we gotta catch up with them clowns." And then if it's like, and if they're not selling the movies, then we gotta fire these actors. Then they kept giving Cavill the runaround. Cavill was giving them the runaround, and then sooner or later they just came to an impasse. And the guy's like, you know what? Okay, fine. We gave Justice League his money, you know, because he kept bitching about it. Everyone kept bitching about it. We made our coin. Now we're just gonna cut them all loose because now we got a new guy, Gunn, taking it over. Now apparently he wants
nothing he's doing right now.
Well, no, Gunn. He wants to make a younger Superman, and
I don't want to see it.
I do.
I don't. Unless it's gonna be Superboy.
No. You're not getting. What I'm saying is a younger Superman. I'm not talking about Superman as a They're not talking about Superman as a middle-aged adult, because if you look at now, Cavill is a middle age. He's getting close to that. So you can't. And here's the thing.
So when you say a younger Superman, they're just gonna find a younger actor to play Superman.
Right. They're just talking about someone who's in their 20s, because you got to understand, Superman became. Superman became who he was in his, let's say, late 20s to early 30s. So
we're talking about Smallville?
No, we're not talking. No. Oh my god.
I'm going to be able to watch a.
Then you don't have to. You don't have to. It's not. You're not like, if you didn't watch Titans. Titans was like your Superboy. If you want to think of.
Yeah, the TV show. Yeah.
Yeah, TV shows. Titans was your Superboy.
That was good.
Yeah, some of it. I didn't care for much. I thought Red Hood was a bitch.
Well,
I mean,
I'll be honest with you. The reason why I enjoyed it because my favorite superheroes. Nightwing's my favorite superhero.
Yeah, they had good cosplay. It was a good cosplay. It was a good cosplay thing. I mean, that's all it reminded me of. Because as soon as they made Batman like this. They've always made it's like they demoralized Batman. You know, they made him like this, like he was constantly like broken. He finally killed the Joker, and then he kept fucking up with all these Similac boys. Like they were weak. You know, they were like weak as hell. Like, what was his name? Todd. I hated him. He was such a fruitcake. I was like, Jesus.
He made him come across. They made Batman come across. I don't want to say. How can you say this without making it sound like a pedophile? They made him come across.
Well, I mean,
to
a degree, the early forms of Batman. We're talking like before the series, the comic book. It was made that there was somewhat of a homosexual relationship.
God.
Right? Not. I know what you're talking about. Right. So what I'm saying is, it was, to some people misinterpreted that because they would say that's his ward, but a lot of other people were referring to, that's his butt buddy or something like that. But anyway, what I'm saying is that the way they made Batman, and the thing was they could not, and to me it just didn't make sense. My thing was, make a Batman series, fuck it, just do it, but no one wants, because you're going to be shelling out a lot of money, and you're going to be putting out a lot of money for that, because there's a lot of people you got to pay, and Batman's just not, it's not a, okay, we got like 4 minutes and we got to end it, but like I said, but for me when I saw The Flash and I saw Keaton was probably for me one of the best aspects of the film. And to me, the only thing I kept saying, they should have made a Batman Beyond with Keaton in it, because I could see Affleck doing it, you know, being older, but I would think Keaton would be much better. Because
Ben Affleck being Batman Beyond?
No, I'm saying, well, obviously he's Bruce Wayne, right? They're both Bruce Waynes. I'm just saying, out of one who would have been. It depends on the way you go with, because to me, to be honest, it depends on how you go with the Batman Beyond, the world building. Because really, if you think about it, and like I said, we're gonna end this real quick. If you think about it, Batman Beyond is really through the eyes of Bruce Wayne. I understand it's through Terry McGinnis and all that, but it's really from the version of Bruce Wayne, how he left Gotham.
Well, Batman Beyond is a clone of Batman.
No, well, I already know, we know that, but that's not the point. We're not trying to say that, oh, this is the reason why he did it, because he's a clone. No, we're saying it's from the point of view is from, it depends on how dark Bruce Wayne is. If Bruce Wayne's going to be Keaton, he's going to be kind of like, you know, humorous and all that stuff. Yeah, he can do it because he's older. it makes sense. Like if I were to think about it, if I made a Batman Beyond, it would definitely be Keaton, because Keaton's at the age, like, it makes sense for him, because then he would stop being Batman, right? But if you put Affleck in it, and Affleck from, let's say, I'm just saying, to me, Superman versus Batman, when he was on that kill mode, he was in kill mode, then it would be a darker, grimmer, cyberpunk movie. And that's would be, to me, I'm just saying, think about it. If you saw, I'm trying to think of that cyberpunk series that was on Netflix, if you had it like that type of violence, or that type of violence, because that's what it basically was. Batman Beyond was cyberpunk. But it was just they had to tone it down, because they couldn't put that type of violence, or that type. I mean, there were some episodes that were close to it, but they couldn't put that type of darkness, and it's basically a darker version of Gotham City. It's like Gotham is always dark no matter what, but now this even makes it worse, because it's like things always get worse, and then it's like Gotham is dystopian. It's a dystopian city, right? So whereas that if you had Affleck, I'm just saying, and like I said, it's just all hypothetical, Affleck's version of Bruce Wayne and Batman is, to me, would be more fitting a Batman Beyond, especially on that range of cyberpunk violence. And then if you put that all together, that would be a great movie. It would be a violent movie. Fine, fuck it, make Bat. And I know they won't do it, because it's Batman, and they want it to be PG-13, and because they got to sell it to the kids. But if you just made one, and what I like about DC, and what I like about DC, and I hope this works, is that Gunn is supposed to make he's supposed to make this Batman called Batman the Brave and the Bold, and it's supposed to be with Damian Wayne, which I like Damian Wayne. I like Damian Wayne. I like Damian Wayne compared to all the Robins. I do. He's
not Dick Grayson will always be my favorite.
No, okay, I get it, but he's Nightwing. See, here's the thing.
He's also Batman.
Well, listen to what I'm saying. The point is, if you have Damian Wayne, it's not like if you chose one Robin and you put the one Robin in and erases everyone else. You could not have a Damian Wayne without having a Dick Grayson. You would not be able to have, okay, here's what I'm saying. If you didn't have a Nightwing, you wouldn't have a Damian Wayne. If you didn't have a Damian Wayne, you wouldn't have a Dick Grayson. You wouldn't have a Tim Drake. You wouldn't have a Jason Todd. What I'm saying is, the Damian Wayne was basically the kind of the middle finger to all the other Robins, saying, listen, I'm his son. I should be Batman. Fuck y'all. That's what it is to me.
I don't like him.
And that's why I like him. That's why I like him, because to me, he's direct. He is supposed to be.
He's reckless, very reckless.
He is because what he's supposed to be. Oh my God, what he's supposed to be. He is supposed to be what Batman was supposed to do if he went with the League of the Shadows. He was supposed to be that. And he didn't, but now he's a younger version of him, with all the stuff with him. Even though he tries to be all cool, calm, and collective, he's still a kid, and that's what. And the thing is, with Batman, that's his redemption. His redemption is he connected with all of these kids, but all of them decided to leave. Where this one went. It was like not only his blood, in some ways he kidnapped him. And he took him on his own, and then said, okay, I'll take him. And basically Damian Wayne's like, okay, I'll stay here, because he figures he has to learn more about his father, but there's something about him being this responsible person, that, because you got to think about it, he was trained by his grandfather Ra's, and Ra's probably told him things about Batman, and he probably studied him and said, yeah, that's your father. And then Talia still talked about him in some way, so in some ways it must intrigued him as him growing up, saying, okay, this guy's my father, he does what the fuck he wants, he doesn't answer to anybody like him, so there's a connection. So I think he's like, more I learn about him, I learn more about myself, because he understands his potential, he understands what he's supposed to do. However, there's still that final piece that he has to connect with his father to figure out where's he going. Okay, anyway, we're at 2 hours and 22 minutes, so this is definitely going to be broken up into several different parts and stuff like that. But I want to, yeah. We gotta do this again or something like that. I'm gonna say thanks to ITSRON's for putting, for staying out here and dealing with me and stuff. There's gonna be some cancellation prices in the green room. I'll make sure they put limit the pepper wings, ghost pepper wings in there for you. Before we go, announce your links. You got the floor now. Announce your links, please.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube at ITSRON_ all caps. You can find me on Kick. I'm now streaming on Kick. Also, it's Ron. You should be able to find me easily. All my pictures look the same. So if you start at YouTube and then go from there, you can click the links in my banner. You'll find me easily.
Okay, are you do you have a schedule or a time that you often stream or?
Not at the moment. My plans is probably going to be like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, something like that, and then probably the weekends. That's my plan.
Okay, that's your plan. Okay, anything you streaming this weekend?
I may actually stream this weekend.
Okay.
I might.
Okay, well, everyone, he'll leave me all his stuff. Well, I have most of his stuff, but he'll leave me all his stuff. We'll just go back and proofread it, make sure it's all right, and then I'll leave the links in the description on these episodes, and just be sure there'll be some more Guerilla Spittin with me. And if you and care to leave a comment, and because if you do and you want more of this, then we can do it. That's not a problem. But we just gotta hear from you. What do you think?
Yeah,
I know we kind of.
Man, I want to do this again.
Yeah. We gotta put this out there, and we'll and we have other interesting topics to talk about, because we kind of was on the track, then we kind of got derailed, and then we got put back on the track, and then all of a sudden Blitzwing came with his tank and blew us out of the water, so we had to go back again. So we're gonna start again another time. But until then, what I always say, stay focused, never settle, and good hunting. Him downstairs out.